Picture this. You've been investing 10,000 rupees every month into a highly rated, 5-star mutual fund. Your fund manager has an impressive MBA, 20 years of experience, and a research team of 50 analysts tracking every market movement. You're paying them 1.5% in fees every single year, trusting that their expertise will make you wealthy. Now fast forward 10 years. You check your portfolio, feeling confident. But then you compare it to a simple Nifty 50 index fund that charges just 0.1%. And your heart sinks. The index fund has beaten your expensive, actively managed fund. Not by a little. By lakhs of rupees. You start wondering, was it bad luck? Did you pick the wrong fund? Here's the brutal truth that will shake everything you believe about investing. It wasn't bad luck. It wasn't the wrong fund. It was mathematics. Cold, hard, unavoidable mathematics that makes it nearly impossible for active funds to beat the index over time. The data is devastating. According to SPIVA India reports, more than 90% of actively managed large-cap funds fail to beat their benchmark over a 10-year period. 90%. Let that sink in. 9 out of 10 highly paid fund managers, with all their research and expertise, cannot do better than a simple computer algorithm that just buys every stock in the index. Today, we are going to pull back the curtain on one of the biggest wealth transfers in Indian financial history from your pocket to the mutual fund industry. SPIVA stands for S&P Indices versus Active. It's a comprehensive report published by S&P Global that compares the performance of actively managed funds against their benchmark indices. And the Indian data is absolutely damning. Let me share the numbers with you. Over a one-year period, around 60 to 70% of large-cap funds underperform the Nifty 50. You might think, okay, short-term fluctuations, maybe some funds had a bad year. But stretch that to 3 years, and the underperformance rate climbs to 75 to 80%. Go to 5 years, it's above 85%. And over 10 years, more than 90% of large-cap funds fail to beat the index. The pattern is consistent across categories. Mid-cap funds, multi-cap funds, ELSS funds, the story remains the same. The longer the time period, the worse active funds perform relative to their benchmarks. Now, the mutual fund industry will tell you that past performance doesn't guarantee future results. Ironically, they use this disclaimer to protect themselves, not you. Because if past performance of active management failing is any indicator, your expensive fund is statistically likely to underperform in the future too. These aren't cherry-picked numbers from some anti-mutual fund website. This is Standard & Poor's, one of the most respected financial institutions in the world, telling you that your fund manager is probably not worth the fees. And this pattern isn't unique to India. The same data holds true in the United States, Europe, Japan. Every developed market shows identical results. Active management underperforms passive indexing over long periods. Let's talk about the silent wealth destroyer hiding in plain sight, the expense ratio. The average actively managed equity fund in India charges between 1 to 2% annually. An index fund typically charges 0.1 to 0.2%. You might think, what's the big deal? 1% difference? How much can that really matter? Let me show you the devastating mathematics. Assume you invest 50,000 rupees monthly for 25 years and both funds earn 12% gross returns before fees. With the index fund charging 0.2%, your corpus grows to approximately 5 crore 40 lakh rupees. With the active fund charging 1.5%, your corpus is around 4 crore 20 lakh rupees. That 1.3% difference has cost you 1 crore 20 lakh rupees. Let me repeat that. You've handed over more than 1 crore rupees to the fund house for management services that, statistically, fail to add any value. And here's what makes it worse. The active fund needs to earn 1.5% extra returns just to match the index fund after fees. That means your fund manager has to be consistently better than the market by at least this margin, year after year, just to break even with a passive strategy. The mathematics creates an almost impossible hurdle. Think about it this way. Every single year, 1.5% of your wealth is being transferred from your retirement corpus to the fund house's revenue, regardless of performance. They get paid the same whether they beat the index or lose to it. Heads they win, tails you lose. Now let me reveal a manipulation technique that makes active fund performance look far better than reality: survivorship bias. Here's how it works. A fund house launches 10 new funds. Over the next 10 years, 5 of those funds perform terribly and are quietly merged into other schemes or shut down completely. They simply disappear from the records. The remaining 5 funds that performed well? Those are the ones showcased in advertisements and performance comparisons. When you look at the mutual fund industry's track record, you're only seeing the survivors. The failures have been erased from history. It's like a magic trick. Imagine a competition where 100 runners start a marathon, but only the top 10 finishers are counted in the final results. You'd think, wow, what an elite group of athletes. You wouldn't know that 90 runners collapsed or dropped out along the way. Spiva adjusts for survivorship bias in their methodology, which is why their numbers are so much worse than what fund houses advertise. They track funds that existed at the beginning of the measurement period, including those that were later merged or liquidated. The Indian mutual fund industry has merged or closed hundreds of schemes over the past 2 decades. Each time this happens, poor performance data vanishes. New investors researching funds only see the successful survivors, creating a completely distorted picture of what's actually possible. When a fund house tells you their scheme has beaten the benchmark over 10 years, ask yourself, how many schemes did they launch 10 years ago that didn't survive? That's the real performance story they're hiding from you. Here's a question that challenges everything the mutual fund industry is built upon. Can anyone consistently predict which stocks will outperform? Or is most outperformance simply luck dressed up as skill? Academic research has studied this exhaustively. And the findings are uncomfortable for the industry. When researchers analyze fund manager performance, they find that past winners rarely repeat their success. A fund that tops the charts this year is statistically no more likely to top them next year than any randomly selected fund. If fund managers had genuine skill, you'd expect consistent outperformance over time. But that's not what the data shows. The correlation between past and future performance is essentially zero. Michael Jensen, Burton Malkiel, Eugene Fama, legendary finance researchers have all reached the same conclusion. After adjusting for risk and fees, the average actively managed fund adds no value. Some managers do beat the index. But here's the mathematical certainty: in any given year, 50% of active money will outperform the average and 50% will underperform. It's a zero-sum game before costs and a negative-sum game after costs. Think of it like a coin-flipping contest with 1,000,000 participants. After 10 rounds, roughly 1,000 people will have flipped heads 10 times in a row. They'll look like geniuses. Magazine covers will feature them. They'll write books about their coin-flipping strategy. But their next flip still has 50% odds of being tails. Fund managers who beat the index for a few years are often just the lucky coin flippers. The skill, if it exists, is so rare that identifying it in advance is nearly impossible. If the data is so clear, why does the mutual fund industry continue promoting actively managed funds? The answer is painfully obvious: money. An actively managed fund with 10,000 crore rupees in assets, charging 1.5%, generates 150 crore rupees in annual revenue. An index fund with the same assets, charging 0.1%, generates only 10 crore rupees. Which product would you aggressively market if you were the fund house? This is why you see constant advertisements for actively managed schemes promising alpha generation and market-beating returns. This is why mutual fund distributors push active funds; they receive higher commissions. This is why financial advisors rarely recommend index funds; there's no money in it for them. The entire ecosystem has misaligned incentives. Everyone in the chain benefits from keeping you in expensive active funds, except you, the investor. And the really clever part? The industry uses short-term outperformance stories to keep the dream alive. When some fund beats the index for 2 or 3 years, it becomes the poster child. Never mind that statistically, some funds will always outperform in the short term by pure chance. They create stars out of statistical noise. Then, when these star funds inevitably regress to the mean and underperform, the industry quietly moves on to promoting the next temporary winner. The cycle continues, wealth keeps transferring from investors to the industry, and the narrative never changes. Meanwhile, simple, boring index funds quietly compound wealth in the background, unmarketed, unpromoted, but mathematically superior. So what's the takeaway for you as an Indian investor trying to build wealth? First, embrace the evidence. The data spanning decades across multiple countries is clear. Low-cost index funds are the highest probability path to long-term wealth creation. Don't fight mathematical certainty with hope. Second, start with broad market index funds. For Indian equity exposure, consider Nifty 50 index funds or Nifty Next 50 funds from reputable AMCs with the lowest expense ratios. For international diversification, look at funds tracking US indices. Third, check expense ratios religiously. Even among index funds, there are differences. Choose funds charging below 0.2%. Every basis point matters over a 25-year investment horizon. Fourth, if you still want active funds, limit your allocation. Perhaps keep 80% in index funds and 20% in carefully selected active funds if you believe you can identify skilled managers. But be honest, you probably can't. Fifth, ignore star ratings and past performance when selecting funds. They have zero predictive power. Focus on expense ratios, tracking error for index funds, and fund house reputation. Finally, automate and forget. Set up systematic investment plans and resist the urge to tinker. The greatest enemy of good returns is investor behavior, constantly switching funds chasing past performance. The mutual fund industry has spent decades convincing us that paying experts is the path to wealth. The data tells a different story. The simplest, cheapest approach wins. Your future self will thank you for accepting this truth early. This is Mahayukti Finance. Invest with data, not with emotion. Don't forget to subscribe and share this video with someone who needs to hear this truth.